Hey everyone, it is the Angry Honey Badger here, and today I actually wanted to talk to you guys about a cool League of Legends related website that I think a lot of you actually can probably get quite a bit of information out of that I thought I'd bring to everybody's attention because I know that it is newer, and I actually happen to have a couple friends that are working on this project. One of them being Ranger, who's actually with me. How you doing, Ranger?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that you know about this because it's going to help me explain what this is, because I can't do it perfectly because it's very I'd call it stat heavy for the most part, or there's a lot of info you can get from it in multiple ways.
There's tons of information. Like, we just dump information and then you have to dig through it. So yeah, I can understand it. It's not something you can easily pick up, but it's definitely worth the time put in so you can find out all the information.
Awesome. So the first thing I think what we need is I want you to kind of give me like a little run through on what it can do for me as a player and how I can use the site, because like I'll just let everybody know right now, I'm just sharing my screen right now with Ranger, and he's actually just going to direct me because I haven't really touched it too much. I know what it can kind of do, but I want him to explain it as if I'm new to it completely. So start me off with like what I want to do if I want to get to something.
Okay, so stats by champions, there's no guides here. You're not going to see what Reckless did in LCS. You're not going to see these awesome, oh, you have to build this and go this. It's more of a place where you can see what people around you are having success in. So right now, go up to the top left and click on stats by champions, the second one. There you go. This is going to pull up a tab that's going to let you check the stats of a champion that are, you can go with kills or what region they're in. So you want to just click a bunch of go to North America?
Yeah, let's do North American region since that's where I play. And then, do we want to do a certain role?
Well, what's your favorite role?
My favorite role
right now.
I don't have a favorite role right now. Actually, right now I really like the tank role, to be completely honest.
All right, let's go with tank.
Let's do tank then, and then Should we just do broad for now, and then we'll break it down later?
Yeah, we'll do broad for now.
Okay.
We'll see what everyone's doing.
We'll just keep it that way, and then we'll do Summoner's Rift because that's what we play.
And what 3 stats do you care about right now looking at?
3 stats I want to see. I want to see... what do I want to see? We actually have choices. We have gold, GPM, game length, lane CS, jungle CS, enemy jungle CS, kills, deaths, assists, damage dealt, wards placed, win ratio. I want win ratio. Okay. I'm a tank, right? I don't really care about...
Yeah.
We don't really care about kills, honestly.
Assist.
How about...
I get assist, dude.
Yeah, we'll do gold per minute and assists.
Okay,
and then we want to submit it?
Yep.
Okay.
And then that's just going to pull up all the tank champions. And right there we have Alistar. Alistar's not the top one, mind you. He's just the first one in the alphabetical order.
Yes.
So you click win rate.
So we'll go to win rate right here.
Just click that, and you're going to see which tanks have the highest win rate. Amumu's had the highest win rate of like any champion forever. He's just a really successful win rate, and he has a really high GPM and pumps out a lot of assists. So if you're looking for a tanking champion, this might be a place to look for what your choices are. Again, this is not the only thing you can do.
And this is based off of his win rate, because as we can see, his gold per minute actually it's actually pretty high. It's not as high as Singed, once again, down here, and his assists are high, but not as high as Rammus's. So this is just purely off of win rate right now.
Yeah, and then you can just click GPM, it'll show you the GPM one, and same thing with assists.
So Jarvan's got the gold per minute.
Yeah, and then,
which is kind of good. And then
that's interesting. I didn't think it would be.
I didn't think it'd be him either. And then assists goes to Leona.
Oh, it's gotta be Leona.
Not surprisingly, more assists. We have more supporting tank roles, getting lots of assists.
And these are really, I mean, this is just something you can look into. So, okay, let's take Leona as our champion. So scroll back up to the screen.
Yep.
And
select her, or?
Oh, no, don't select her. Just scroll up.
Oh.
And then you're going to go to, let's go with compare items. It's the furthest on the right.
Okay. So we'll click on that, which it is loading because the internet. There we go.
Internet.
Whoa, lots of items.
Okay. And this is, again, all over. These are not builds. Please do not go Bork first, then Doran's Blade, then Ninja Tabby on Aatrox, and then say, well, this is what Stats by Champion told me to do. Again, this is just for information to find out.
Okay.
So.
That is very important. I can see how that's very important. Rushing Bork, then Doran's, very interesting build path.
Yeah,
it's want to recommend.
It's the new Platinum EU build. Anyway, okay, so let's go with North America again.
Okay.
And you're Platinum higher, right?
Yeah.
Go Platinum higher.
So it's like, because you can select multiples, as we can see.
Yeah.
I selected Plat, Diamond, Challenger. And then Summoner's Rift. We'll do, does this matter? Do we want solo, probably?
So solo means, they don't queue with another buddy. And the reason why I like solo is maybe you have that buddy that's a jungler and camps your lane. Your stats are completely wrong because that's not how it's normally going to be if you don't know your buddy.
Yeah, that'd
So
be
I like
quite
solo.
different typically.
Yeah, and then the win is you kind of want to see people successful. Like
You can see what people who are losing are building, and maybe there's signs there too, because there's probably information there. But we'll go with winning. We want to see what winning players are
and
doing.
then just go to tank on the global filters.
Okay.
And let's click submit. Now, before we click submit, the tiers,
Yes.
1, 2, and 3. The tier 3 item is like death cap.
Okay.
And a tier 1 item is like Doran's blade.
Okay.
That's what it means.
So
Well, don't even worry about that right
okay,
now.
so we don't worry about it, but that's what that would mean.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's another thing you can kind of cycle through what you want to see. End game items or maybe early game items.
Okay.
And where's our Leona?
All right.
Scroll down a little bit.
So Leona's here at 7 because alphabetically right now is what our order is.
Yeah, so you can see here you have Leona, and you're like, okay, cool. So Leona was the champion I picked because she had great assists. Well, what are people using in the percentage of the games? You can highlight over one of the items, and it will say in 70% of the games, Face of the Mountain was used. And this means it was completed before the other items were completed, not bought. So I bet she did get maybe some boots in there, maybe a ruby, but that's just what you kind of want to see. So these are the highest success of the items because all these people won. All these items right here are from the winning side.
Okay.
So that's kind of how you can look again. So that's just another way to kind of cycle through. And it takes a long time. I spent an hour or two the first time just going through all this information and finding out things I like to see.
It is really interesting to see what people are actually finishing item-wise.
Yeah.
Because more people, like from, because I'm inferring off the top of what I'm seeing. So Giant's Belt completed and used 24.5% of games played. That means more people, maybe this was going towards this Omen, but that means a lot of people were focusing on their stats before a locket is what that's saying to me.
Yeah, for sure. And so, after you can spend a lot of time here. There's other tabs. I mean, if you scroll up, there's still 2 more we didn't really go over, and you can go through those later. But
Yeah.
the comparing items, if you look on the right side of the filter, and now it's going to let us go to click North America, and then go bronze, silver, gold, and then Summoner's Rift, solo 1. So now we're going to see what the bottom half of the leagues do and what the higher ups do. So you see Leona.
So these are the differences. So this would be plat and higher, and this would be silver to gold.
Correct. And if you can see, let's look at Boots' difference. They're going Merc treads and a little bit lower. I think that's just a comfort pick because Merc treads are like, they're always going to be beneficial, but we're trying to initiate with Leona.
Yeah, this is catch potential with mobility.
The Boots of Mobility is a huge way to catch on someone and use that Solar Flare ultimate to peg them in the distance. Solar Flare, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
We're also seeing people pick up a Sunfire Cape over Omen.
Yes.
Which Omen's better tankier stats for someone who's just pretty much a pure tank.
And it gives that slow.
Yep.
To help Leona just stick on a target. So you can see some differences here.
And they're kind of building their Sightstones or their Ruby Sightstone either later or not as fast because it's further down, which I think is incredibly important.
Yeah, it's really important because people at higher ELO will clear your wards.
Yep.
Maybe you're not used to that and you're like, I always go back to shops, I always have wards. But that extra health and that extra wards is really important.
There are a few things I can kind of see, though, that reign true for the most part. I mean, right here, Nautilus, Ancient Golem, Mobility, Sunfire Cape, Omen.
Yeah.
Like, the start of this is right next to similar. So,
exactly.
But that's, that's a pretty generic item, path.
Yeah, so basically with this website, what I do is after I play a game and you get one of those discouraging losses or you just stomp the yard, I always go to this website and just kind of check out what I did and see how it kind of compares.
Here's a classic one. This, play a ton of Zyra.
Yes, you do.
Or I used to a lot. Anyways, it's something it's kind of a go-to for me. So if I change this to support and hit submit,
yes.
Would this give me a good comparison? I just want to see for myself.
Oh, she might be level as a mage.
Oh, then that might be different then. We'll see. Oh, that's support and mage.
We'll keep support and mage there, and you're going to see how she compares on items to the other supports.
Okay. I think I got it. Okay. She's going to be down towards the bottom, though. Here we go. Boots, Leandries, and then Frost Queens, and then Sightstone is the difference. So Sightstone's rushed, once again, at a little bit higher elo. Is what
Wards
this is
are
saying.
always important.
Wards important.
So important.
Yep, Death Cap. Frostfang doesn't even show up, and then we got Hourglass. Wow, yeah, Ruby Sightstone are showing up. We're more towards the bottom for both of these, though. So
I want to say that's because she's more of an aggressive. You have that Leandries really early, and that kind of sucks your money away. But Zyra does amazing amounts of damage, so we're okay with that. We'll trade.
One thing that I think would be interesting, I want to do one quick one where I diversify more. Let's get rid of Plat and let's get rid of Gold. So we have Bronze, Silver versus Diamond Challenger.
Okay.
Because that'll really diversify, I think, the builds a little bit. Let us see. I'm just trying to see some just general trends. Yeah, there's some ones in here like Annie who's going for DFG.
Yeah, because you want to get that flash.
But over
DFG
here,
ultimate.
it's not here. It's a lot lower. It's 30%.
They're going Rod. Well, Deathfire Grass first, or not Deathfire Grass. I'm sorry. What's it called? Deathcap. Yeah, there we go. And when I used to play Annie, I went for the Rod too. Because I was like, oh, she's so tanky and everything's going to go fine.
Yeah.
But when you finally understand how to flash forward DFG and ultimate their carry and instantly win the team fight because of it, it's what you want to do. And then you can see how Zhonya's is important too. After you do that, so they don't kill the hell out of you.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, I mean, this is just something you can check. There's just so much information here.
Yeah, there's tons. I mean, you could go through this for days. If you were looking for marksmans in, the same typical setup, you could see what people might be rushing and might not be rushing.
Yeah, and you think, I mean, builds change so much too.
Like
this is constantly updating.
Yeah, that's true.
So like with the whole new IE so great, you can see how the little bit of the lower ELOs are just rushing that IE, and this can be this can be because people don't force them out of lane as much, so they're able to farm. But if you come back to lane and the other guy has like a Doran's up on you and you're still rushing that IE and you didn't buy that best friend sword, you're going to be really far behind. So it's important that you do buy like a Doran's or something to get some more damage before you just straight rush your IE.
That's why these percentages are higher?
Yes.
80% to 53?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important.
It is. I can see that. Also, one other trend I do notice, look where the, just look down the lines. Look where the last whispers are at.
Pen is so important. It is so much damage.
More jumpy on the far sides towards the bottom, and over here it's like the second, third item.
Yeah, people forget how much, taking off that much armor does. It's not as flashy. You don't have this cool item that has 1 billion attack points.
Yeah.
But pen is so important in these games.
Oh, yeah. Especially if anybody's tanky.
It's true.
Even a little bit of tanky is... Like right here, like the classic old Caitlyn build. Yeah. BT Last Whisper. Because then your ults just tear through people, and other reasons tears through people. Yeah. But here it's it's that those two are down here.
Yeah, and it's too late in my opinion once you get there. But these are still winning games, right? We clicked win.
Yeah, these are still wins.
So
I mean, if you really wanted to do it, and you do lost in one column. I mean, it starts to make things jump around a little bit.
So it's something to look forward to. But yeah, that's how this website can help you enhance your main, as our little bit of a logo goes.
Enhance your main. I like it.
And that's
There's a lot of information here, though. I totally see what you're saying. You can go through this for a while just to see what maybe you're like, oh, I play this character and I don't. I mean, I play Corki. I just go IE. You're like, well, obviously Trinity is kind of a big deal. 91% compared to 81%. So maybe you're like, maybe this is really a lot more important than I thought.
Yeah, maybe
I will say one thing though, actually, from just that stat, we have Berserkers and Sorks.
1% off,
and they're still they're right next to each other, and I'm a Sork guy on Corki personally.
Yeah, and I am too, and a lot of people don't know why Sork is good.
It's because all of his crap does magic damage.
Yeah, you look at this and you go, okay, so Sork is good. Well, do I just go Sork now? Maybe you should think about why you go Sork and what Corki's damage actually is.
Yeah.
Compared to, let's say, a Caitlyn who never stops auto-attacking.
Here's another good one, too, that you can say. Because there's a lot of small hints in here you're not necessarily seeing right away. Here we're seeing Berserker Greaves, 62%. But down here, Ionian are in here at 23%. If you look here, they're at the first slot. Everybody's getting Berserkers in Bronze, Silver. And they're barely down here at the bottom. So why is that?
Berserkers before Trinity Force on the lower tiers. And that, I think, is wrong because Ezreal is a caster ADC, in my opinion.
Yep.
He's got the Q he's constantly spamming, and the Q gets buffed by Trinity Force. So there's really no reason not to be using that Trinity Force to its fullest advantage.
Yeah. There's really no reason to basically be getting your full boots in front of your Trinity because you're going to get damage spike here, not a damage spike here.
Yeah, it's true.
So, interesting.
And unless you're double lift, or let's say double lift reckless, you're really not going to use that attack speed. I mean, how much do you honestly think the 20% that you're going to use in fights? It's much more important to get the Trinity Force.
Yeah. Interesting.
So.
Wow, actually, here's a big one. This build is drastically different. Look where this Blade of the Ruined King is an Infinity Edge.
That's odd.
All of these are in front of the Trinity Force. So once again, this column over here, items 1, this is Diamond Challenger. This is Bronze Silver. So just on Lucian, you can see the big difference there. Same thing with well, not big difference. That's a little bit. That's not too bad actually. So yeah, but Lucian, Trinity Force, being primarily the first item up at the higher elos. Now we're not. One thing I will want to say though is you can't necessarily just go straight Challenger and be like, oh okay, that worked. You know, because
yeah, exactly.
That doesn't necessarily work.
Challenger,
that way.
So it's gonna work here.
Yeah. So there's your disclaimer. Here's a big one, Teemo. There's a hurricane in here.
Woo!
But I see the lack of a hurricane over here. I see more raw damage actually over here between the Void Staff and the Hourglass.
Get that pen.
Get that pen. Here's pen.
It's interesting.
A little bit late.
60% of the game.
60%. 31.
Okay.
Doubled. And this is like you said, fully completed.
Yeah.
So perhaps this percentage, don't look at 31% saying well, only 31% of users were going to build that. No, they just didn't get to it perhaps because, you know, after they probably went to it after, you know, their boots and their torment and maybe after their Namakan. So interesting though.
Yeah, lots of information. So it's really important that you just constantly, if you're going to do this, compare things. Because you can't just compare once and then think you know everything. It's going to change a lot. And we're pooling so many games per day.
You can even do it by side if you think something's stronger on a different side of the map.
Yeah. And you compare regions. You can compare North America to EU West or Nordic and East.
Yeah, you could just...
It's interesting. The first thing I did is I did the compare champions, and that lets you see the different kills they have. And I was comparing, you know, how many kills an Aatrox got in North America compared to the European. And I would say the European Aatroxes seem to be more scary than the North American ones.
Oh, crazy. Well, that's not surprising, though, actually.
Maybe they're following Wicked's
Wow, the difference between winning and losing changes drastically on a build, even in Diamond Challenger. So
oh, for sure. You can see people that are more comfortable in the role.
Yeah.
Or just made some really bad choices. So if you look at Caitlyn, you were talking about the Bloodthirster build and the Last Whisper build.
Yeah, very different.
And then you can see the IE rush, which just puts you so far behind before you can get there. IE is expensive.
IE is very expensive.
And Bloodthirster lets you scale now, it gives you that shield. And Last Whisper gives you the pen. And by then, you have those two items complete probably by the time they have IE and maybe a pickaxe.
You can kind of also get an idea on who's getting to either their Static Shiv first or Phantom Dancer. You kind of get a good comparison here because there we got Static in front, but here on Caitlyn you got Phantom Dancer in front.
Yeah. And they didn't get both of them. Again, it's not a build. They didn't go for Phantom, and it just shows you the percentage of which they got them.
Yeah.
So, fun stuff.
Well, cool.
Yeah, I appreciate the little sit down and talk, Andrew. I do enjoy talking about this website.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. I think a lot of people too, if you're into stats at all or just ideas behind builds, not necessarily just straight up builds, because once again, these aren't just straight up builds, but the ideas and concepts behind builds and why somebody might have done something, you can actually kind of learn that comparing between these columns, whether they won, they lost, you know, whether it's between a bronze and a gold game or a gold and a challenger game. I think there's a lot of information here for people to check out. So that's why I wanted to just kind of bring this up. I mean, I happen to know a couple people working on it, which is pretty cool too. And it's just, like I said, it's a great information source. So I thought we would make this video and just kind of let everybody know about it. So if you want to head over and check out these stats, it's statsbychampions.com. And yeah, go ahead and come over here. You can browse through, you know, stats by champions or compare items. Item popularity also is a tab. So yeah, come play with the website, see if there's anything you can learn from it, because I think there's probably a lot of information that people can gather from it. So it's very cool.
Sure.
But yeah, it was very nice, and I appreciate you giving me the walkthrough for me and for anybody else who may have watched. And other than that, guys, I guess we'll see y'all later.